let's talk about energy. Now I realize I'm not talking about the energy that you get from your morning cup of coffee or even going crazy like I just did. I'm talking about that zing that you bring to your viewers when you show up on their screen. That energy that sort of like propels you through the monitor and lands in their lap, for lack of a better analogy. It is super important, and here's why. First of all, it's because the energy is catchy. It sort of grabs your viewers' attention right out of the gate, and it keeps them glued to their seats, hopefully just the way that you are, waiting for whatever it is that you're going to say next. It is part of the entertainment portion of your edutainment, educational, informational, and also entertaining. Sort of like saying, hey, I'm so excited to be with you. I've got tons of great stuff for you. It is an offer that for the most part, your viewer won't be able to resist. That you, hopefully, won't be able to resist. Next, that energy shows that you're genuine and it shows that you're passionate. And you know what? People absolutely love that. It is like a stamp of authenticity that says, I am here because I'm really good at this. I'm super excited to share it with you. And I believe in what I'm sharing. And that, my friend, builds trust. Energy also sets the tone. It adds color to your words. It brings out the emotions. It helps your viewers feel your joy, feel your excitement, your urgency, and it makes your message that much more powerful. And you know what else? Energy makes you memorable. Think about it. Would you rather listen to something that was delivered sort of in a monotone type of way where somebody is clearly just reciting the words, or where somebody is really genuinely enthusiastic and excited about what they say? That energy creates that. It also creates pattern interrupts in the cadence of your speech. And so those pattern interrupts re-engage your viewer each time you do one. Now, you don't want to overdo it, but using those verbal and energetic pattern interrupts brings your audience back to you. Energy is what can etch your message into your viewer's mind and into your viewer's heart. And don't forget, we're fighting the internet's biggest villain, and that is viewer fatigue. Your viewers are probably tired after scrolling through all sorts of content, right? They've been looking for the right answer for goodness knows how long. You may have been doing the exact same thing. There is tons of content that they have been scrolling through, and the truth is, a lot of that stuff out there is boring. And so your viewer gets set in sort of a monotone mindset, and they're just clicking through from one thing to the other. Your energy is what can stop the scroll. Your energy is what engages them. It's like a refresh button. It sort of wakes them up to your message. Video and being on camera is kind of tricky. There's no context beyond these four walls or these four boundaries of your monitor. There's no context for me in terms of what you're doing, and there's no context for you outside of what you see here in terms of what I'm doing. Camera takes me, in this case, person who is 3D, and turns them into a 2D image. And that does all sorts of bad things. And then you have the hurdles of the actual microphone and the lens. And then you have some tech hurdles, right? The microphone or the lens that you have to account for as well. All of these things have a tendency to flatten your energy when you are on camera. And then when you add in the fact that a lot of us are already timid on camera, so we have a tendency to reduce our body language, we reduce our vocal variety, and it just amplifies all of those energy sucking things that we're trying to battle from start to finish anyway. We are subconsciously trying to minimize the attention that we draw to ourselves, and that's our caveman brain talking to us. Our caveman brain, your caveman brain, it sees the audience as a potential predator, and so we don't want to draw predator's attention to us as the prey. No, we don't want to make big movements. We don't want to make loud noises. We don't want to see predators on the horizon. We want to shrink all of that so we can stay safe. That's not a great place to be when you're on camera. If you look timid, if you look awkward, if you look like you're trying to play safe, it's not going to work. You have to jump in with both feet, and that applies to your energy as well. I don't see you as a predator. Hopefully you are here to learn, and that's what your audience will be showing up to hear from you as well. So you want to act in the exact inverse. You want to move around, not flailing without purpose, but body language, hand gestures, facial expressions, vocal variety, projection, loud noises, all of that stuff, for the most part, is really good. You want to get out of your own head when you're thinking about the eyes that are on you, and you want to put your audience, put you in this case, first and foremost, and think about the way that you can deliver that information in a way that's going to actually keep them engaged from beginning to end so they get everything that they need to. I hope that this video keeps you engaged from beginning to end, because there's all sorts of good stuff we still have to talk about. But if I was boring or blah, you likely would tune out. And even if you haven't scrolled forward or clicked on to the next video, if you lose what I'm saying, it's going to be really hard to bring you back in. It's going to be really hard for you to bring your viewer back in. They may still be listening, but they're listening with half an ear, and you haven't created authority that way. You haven't created an engaged audience either. So you may have heard me talk about MVPing your VIQ. VIQ stands for Video IQ. MVP, M stands for mindset, V stands for vocal variety, and P stands for physical performance. They're all the different elements that go into creating an engaging and compelling delivery on camera. Now, in this case, while there is a little bit of mindset, the energy portion is really mostly about your physical performance. Even if you're tired, amplifying your body language, amplifying that vocal variety, that can help minimize and cover up any exhaustion that might accidentally work its way into your delivery. I was on camera for a very long time in the news business before I realized what this actually was. I would be reading a story and I would have a producer in my ear tell me to speed up. And so I would just start reading more quickly. What I didn't realize, and what they didn't realize either, is that it wasn't actually that they were telling me to speed up my read, it's that they were telling me to energize my performance, if you will. And when I say performance, I'm putting it in air quotes because I don't want this to feel performative or fake, but you do have to recognize that there are certain ways of delivering to a camera or delivering on a stage that are quite different from sitting in a small conference room 3 feet away from somebody with not a lot of distraction. And you have to use your delivery in order to overcome some of those challenges. So for me, it wasn't necessarily about speeding up how quickly I was saying anything. It was about recognizing that I needed to up my energy in order to create that dynamic on-screen persona and something that would keep the viewer engaged from the beginning of the story to the end, which is exactly what you're trying to do in your videos. When I finally went back and I watched my news reads to gauge my energy, I could see what they meant. I felt like I was delivering with energy. I was not. When I amped it up to where it needed to be, I sort of felt like I was delivering a sleazy, like coked up used car salesman. And if that's you, I apologize, no offense. And sometimes I felt like the ShamWow guy. Remember the guy with the dish rag, right? I mean, how many other dish towels do we remember by name from a commercial that aired, 15 years ago? We remember it because we remember the guy. So the energy that you think you're delivering with, you're probably not. And it took me, even after several years of being on camera, to recognize this. I'm here to tell you, you're gonna feel really weird when your energy is in the right place. It's gonna feel awkward until you get used to it. So how do you get better? Well, like I said, it is going to feel awkward, but I want you to introduce yourself. Maybe it's 30 seconds, and I want to introduce yourself on camera, recording, in the way that you like normally would if you were just sort of talking to somebody who, you were waiting at the bus stop with or in line at the grocery store with. And then I want you to go back and watch. And then I want you to record the same thing, same introduction, but I want you to bump it up by about 25%. So like lean into the camera when you have something exciting to say. Use your body sort of as a character. Like if you have an aside, don't be afraid to use your body language and your gestures to highlight that. Use your vocal variety and then go back and watch again. And then I want you to bump it up by another 25% and do the same thing. And then by another 25% and do the same thing. By the end, you are going to feel like the ShamWow guy. Now, you don't want to deliver that way for a business video, but the more that you can get used to feeling uncomfortable with the energy that you're delivering with, the easier it is going to be to turn that on at the right level when when you actually are making a recording for other people's eyes. One other really great technique to use to practice is to take something very basic, like, I don't know, for example, I happen to have a roll of tape here. So take a roll of tape or a paper clip or whatever it is and gush about it. Oh my gosh, this tape, it's called gift wrap tape. It's made by Scotch. It's got a purple label on it and it's so sticky. It is like life-changing. I want you to go over the top when you're talking about something very basic, and then do the same exercise. Just bump it up incrementally each time and go back and watch. And when you're delivering with the intent to deliver with energy, not only will you recognize what it feels like, because again, it will feel weird at first, but you will also learn to find where that happy medium is, where you are you still, but just amplified a little bit, or a lot of it. Here's one other great analogy that I like to use when I'm trying to talk to a client about how to gauge their energy. Imagine that you are at a noisy restaurant and you're at a long table and you're seated, 4 people down from somebody to whom you're trying to speak. How do you raise above that noise and get their attention? Because you can't just scream at them. There are other elements that you have to use to deliver your message. You may lean in to let them know visually that this is something important. You probably amplify your facial expressions. You may use your hands, emphasize that there's 1, 2, 3 things that you guys are working on at work, or whatever the case may be. That feeling, the way that you deliver in that case is very similar to the way that you want to deliver on camera. Now, for most people, it is about 20 to 30% more energy than they're used to delivering with on camera. That may apply to you. Again, you're going to have to record and go back and watch and record and go back and watch and see exactly where it is where you fall on that spectrum. But when you think about that scenario and you imagine how you would talk to that person who's 4 seats away from you, that is very similar to what you want to replicate when you are speaking to a lens. And if you're looking for some more information about why your talking head videos may not be resonating, go back and watch this video, 5 reasons that your talking head video sucks and how to fix them. Until next time, thanks for watching.